Hello to everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel School for All. So this is tutorial number 22 of our C programming training. So I'm happy concerning what we did so far up till now. We are done with control structure. We did the selection control structure, the if statement, the if else, the multiple if, the switch case. Under iterative control structure, we did everything, the for loop, the do while loop, the while loop, and so on. So now with this knowledge, we are going to see how to answer some questions. Now this one question here, they say write a C program that prints multiplication table of 5. This is all what the question is saying, that you should write a C program that prints the multiplication table of 5. Now you realize that there is no details about this question, so you are the one to reason and do it the way you think. Are we there? Now, meaning what? Generally in exam, you're not going to have a question just like this. No. Generally in exam, it's more easier than this one, because there, when they are given a problem, they will describe that problem and tell you exactly how the thing should look like. So this is what happened. Before now, you use their description to answer the question. In our own case, since I want to show you people how to reason in front of a programming question, that's why I'm just giving a question like this, so that you should reason. Now, the question here is clear. They say multiplication, and they do not precise anything. Use while loop for no. They do not precise anything. You are the one to reason on the equation and see what you use So you are free to solve this question the way you want. Remember that I told you that for a problem you can have 100 programming solutions for that same problem. So just make sure you reason normally and you do what is correct. You can even pause this video and try to do it yourself before you continue with the video. Now, so as usual, let me go to my rough work. Okay, so the question is asking us to write a program that displays multiplication table of 5. Now, so they did not precise anything, so let us assume that our multiplication table here is ending at 10. Yeah, meaning what? Here you're supposed to have something like 5 times 1. Now it depends on you. If you want, you start your multiplication table at 0. They do not precise anything. Let me just start at 1. 5 times 2. Okay, here is what? Here is 5. Here is 10, and so on. In fact, you know the different answers. 5 times 3. 5 times 4. 5 times 6. 5 times 7. 5 times 8. 5 times 9. 5 times 10. So generally behind your notebooks, I think it's ending at 12, something like that. Like you go to 5 times 11, 5 times 12. But yeah, we don't really care about that. So yeah, the idea is just to see how things works. Okay, so they say that you should display a multiplication table by 5, meaning what? That when you run your program, this is what you are expecting, having something like this. Now the question you ask yourself, how to write a program that displays this? They say, I think this is similar to video number 20. Yes, where I did a question, something similar like this one. Now to start, you realize something, that here we have multiplication. Let me use a red pen. Here we have what? Multiplication, and so on and so forth. So you are seeing that here we are repeating an operation, which is what? Multiplication. We are repeating something, and by the moment we are already repeating something, please take note, we are supposed to use what? A loop. By the moment we are re-executing something many times, or let me say multiple times, we need what? A loop. Now the next question that you ask yourself is, what are you supposed to put inside your loop? Now you realize something in this operation, that 5 is constant, 5 is not changing, meaning that, yeah, let me just use a variable called mul. You realize that here 5 is constant, the operation also is constant, which is multiplication, is not changing. But you realize that something is changing. The first time you are doing multiplication, you are doing it by 1. But the second time when you are re-executing multiplication, you are doing it by 2. The third time when you are re-executing multiplication, you are doing it by 3. It simply means that here you need to have a variable, and that variable now should start with an initial value of what? Of 1, because your first multiplication here is by 1. So that the first time you execute this instruction, I is 1, so you have 5 times 1. Now you need to have an operation under saying I equals to I plus 1, so that after executing this instruction for the first time, meaning after executing 5 times 1, normally I increment here, so I will move to what? To 2. So you come back again in the loop, you re-execute this instruction, and you have what? 5 times 2. After doing that, the same thing you display. You come back again, I increment to what? 3. You have 5 times 3 and so on and so forth. But there's one thing. You are seeing that here you are supposed to end when you reach what? 5 times 10. It simply means that you need to have a condition saying that I less than or equals to what? Less than or equals to 10. So that by the moment this condition is what? It falls, you stop the execution. Meaning what? If I move to 11, 11 is less than or equals to 10. No, we stop there. So this is the general idea is all. It simply means what? That in my program, I'm supposed to have this 5 times I in a loop. Now you are seeing that this problem, either you do it with a while loop, you do it with a for loop, there is no problem. You can even solve this problem with a do while loop. But I told you that do while loop generally, you are using it when you are collecting something from a user, or maybe when you are doing an operation first before testing a condition under. Whereas for this exercise, you analyze very well. The first thing after initializing I to 1, I'm supposed to test my condition before executing this instruction. This is what I'm trying to do. So you are seeing that here no need to come and use a do while loop. Here the best solution, either you use a while loop or you use a for loop. So in this tutorial, let me use the for loop. Let me use a for loop. So let us go and write this code. So if I come here, where's my def C? Okay, file, new source file. So good manner, you save this document first. Save as. I created something on my desktop the last time. C programming. Okay, so yeah, let us call this exercise 1. What's the name? Let me just think about something. Exercise 1, multiplication table by 5. Okay, let me just give something like that. Save as type. You click on here. You click on this drop down, you select what? C source file. So here you are used to. Now, so the first instruction here is clear, right? Hashtag include stdio.h. Okay, so here you know the use of this very well. After this, what happened? The basic structure of a C program. So always have your good manner. Okay, now you start your program. So the first thing, we said that we need to have a variable here called what? In I. Now, since you are using a for loop, you remember that with a for loop, you are initializing inside. So I'm going to say for I starting at 1. Now I'm supposed to test is what? If I is less than or equals to what? Or equals to 10, then yes, what? I plus plus, meaning I is going to increment by 1 each time. Now here I'm supposed to have what? A variable called mol. So you come here again, you declare your variable mol like this, and here I'm going to say mol is equals to 5 times is this star, where is it? Okay, 5 times I like this. Now you display this result, printf. Now I want us to display it using this format. So I want to see something exactly like what you're saying here. So I'm going to move back here. And here I'm going to do something like the first value is what? 5 is constant. You do your 5 times is also constant, so you can use x here because humanity just to display. Now you want to see what? 5 times what? Times a particular value. It can be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that value 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and so on. In fact, it's stored where? It's stored in the variable called what? I. So you are seeing that here you are supposed to display something coming from memory. So you put what? %z, because I is an integer. After that, the next thing is you want to see equals to, you write your equals to. After equals to, you want to see the answer, and your answer is going to be stored where? In the variable mol, which is also from memory. So here you also write what? %z. You put your comma. Now after putting your comma, the first percentage is for I, you write I, comma. The second percentage is for the answer, which is mol, and it's all. Now just that here you come and put /n at the end here. Why are we putting /n? I think it's clear now. So that when we display 5 times 1 equals to maybe 5, yeah, the next operation should appear but under, and so on and so forth, so that we have this structure, and it's all. So if I come back, sorry, so if I come back here, I put my semicolon, and I think everything should work perfectly. Let me just run this. Nice. So you are seeing that here there is no mistake, everything is clean. very clean. So it's all now. So this is where we are ending this tutorial. In the next video we are going to answer another question, but assignment as usual. The assignment I'm giving you is I want you to write the same code but using a while loop. So if you face any difficulty, just leave a comment. So but if you are done and your code is perfect, it's working normally, also leave a comment so that let me be sure that you are following what we are doing. Thanks, and let's meet in the next video. Bye bye.